What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to Bruce and Stephanie Comics. My name is Bruce, and today is Thursday, September 29th of 2022, and it is time for another comic book speculation recommendation show, the video where I look off into the future at this upcoming weekend's final order cutoff and next week's new comic book day, and try to figure out what are going to be the best books for you guys to speculate on, so that way we can start to make this hobby fun itself. Now, with this being a speculation video, I do want to let you guys know I have two reminders that I give you guys every single week, and these are very important if you guys are new to speculation or new to this video series. But if you guys are seasoned speculators, or if you guys have seen this video series a bunch of times, you guys can go ahead and look down in the descriptions below and go ahead and skip forward to final order cutoff speculation. But if you guys are new to this video series or new to speculation, stick around and hear my two reminders. The first reminder that I have for you guys every single week is the most important, so please listen, and this one is easy. Do your own research. Guys, speculation is educated guesses, so that's what I'm doing in today's video. I am taking my comic book knowledge and making some educated guesses, but what you guys need to do is go check other comic book YouTubers you trust, other comic book websites that you trust, and other comic book apps that you trust. Gather the most information possible so that way you guys can make the best decisions possible for yourself. Because remember, you're spending your own hard-earned money on these books. Not my money, your money. And the second reminder that I have for you guys is that sometimes books are delayed for one reason or another. So sometimes they can show up for multiple weeks on final order cutoff or multiple weeks on new comic book day spec because their release date got moved for one reason or another. Alright guys, those are my two reminders. Let's go ahead and dive into final order cutoff speculation. Alright guys, we're diving into final order cutoff speculation. Now, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the books that I'm going to speak about on today's video, you guys need to get your pre-orders in by October 2nd, which is Stephanie's birthday, for your DC, Scout, and Vault books, and October 3rd for your Marvel and all the other indie publishers. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and dive in to my cover lover picks for this upcoming weekend's final order cutoff. Alright guys, unlike last week, I had three cover lover picks that I want to share with you guys. These are covers that I think might sell well on the secondary market based on the cover art alone. And the first one that I want to show you guys is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 101, the cover G, done by Danny Pendergast. I think this is some gorgeous original artwork. I think it's really, really cool. I am not a Mighty Morphin's Power Ranger fan, but man, this cover is so freaking cool. And the next book up hasn't even had its cover art released yet, but guys, you could not sleep on Skottie Young. And this is for Secret Invasion number 1, the new Secret Invasion series coming from Marvel Comics, and it's a Skottie Young cover. Guys, you cannot sleep on Skottie Young. Pick up his covers when you see them and just see how they do on the secondary market in their future. There are so many covers done by Skottie Young that sell well in the secondary market. You would just be really silly not to pick yourself up a copy of this book. Next up, in the final cover lover pick for me is a really interesting one. I'm talking about Betty Page, Cursed Banshee, the Jay Lee metal cover. Now this book right out of the gate is going to cost you around $100. You can probably find it a little cheaper if you pre-order it, but guys, this cover is absolutely fantastic. And it features Betty Page, which is a really cool character from a long time ago. I really like this artwork by Jay Lee, and I also like the fact that it's Betty Page. Now, this is more of a long shot than the other two books, but guys, this is just gorgeous cover art, and sometimes I just like to share that with you guys. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move into all the books that have speculation coming out this weekend on Final Order Cutoff. Alright guys, there are a lot of Marvel books that have possible speculation, so let's not waste any more time and dive right into this list. And the first book up is Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City number 1. This has the first appearance of Runaway. This is also the prequel to the Gotham Knights video game, slated to release on the same day as this issue goes on sale. This also includes a redeemable code to unlock the Bat Cycle in the Gotham Knights game. A special item will be unlocked if codes of all 6 issues are redeemed. Next up is Punchline Gotham Game number 1, with the first team appearance of Punchline's Royal Flush Gang. Next up is Black Panther number 11, with the first team appearance of an unknown militant force armed with powerful vibranium weapons. Next up is Cross-Gen Tales number 1. This is a 128-page collection of the publisher CrossGen's premiere issues. Sigil, number 1 from 2000. Mystic, number 1 from 2000. Swordrawn, number 1 from 2001. And Ruse, number 1 from 2001. Next up is Deadpool, number 1. It's the solicitations says a new mercenary group sends Wade on one of the most dangerous missions. An intoxicating villain unleashes a twisted plan on his body with horrifying side effects. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind #1. This is a tie-in to the Disney World attraction that opened on May 27th, 2022. Next up is Hulk #10. This has possible new gamma-affected characters. Next up is Savage Avengers #7. The solicitation refers to the setting as a bold and new 2099 reintroduction of the Punisher 2099. Next up is Secret Invasion #1. This is a 5-issue limited series featuring Maria Hill and Nick Fury versus an invasion of Skrulls. Have we done that before? We sure have. Next up is She-Hulk #7, the possible first appearance of new villains. Solicitations for #8 reads, She-Hulk's new arch nemesis has finally shown their face. Now this was on last week. This is a book that was delayed. Next up is Tiger Division #1, the first solo series featuring Tiger Division, a South Korean super team. Alright guys, those are all the books that had speculation coming out on this weekend's final order cutoff. I'm going to take a look at this list one more time and come back to you with my spec picks of the week. Alright guys, after going over that list one more time, there are two books books that I think you guys might want to consider. And the first one up is Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City #1. And this is purely for that redeemable code. I don't think this runaway character is going to be anything of anything. So buy the book, put it up on eBay, and hopefully you can sell it for those people who are going to play the video game and want that Bat Cycle. And the other book that I think you guys might want to consider is Tiger Division #1, with the first solo series featuring Tiger Division, a South Korean super team. I think any book that has a minority group with their first appearances is really important, especially since we're starting to see a lot more of those characters on the big screen. I think it'd be silly not to pick this up, but also don't go really heavily into that because I don't think this is going to sell super duper well, especially right out of the gate. You might have to hold on to these books for a really long time before you really start to see a return on this book. Alright guys, those are the two books that I think you guys might want to consider for speculation coming out on this weekend's final order cutoff. Now I'd love it if you guys took a minute and left a comment down below letting me know if you like the two books I selected for speculation, or if you think there are better books on that list to spec on, or maybe if you think none of these books are good for speculation and you should save your money. Alright guys, it is time to dive into our new comic book day spec for October 5th of 2022, and just like final order cutoff, we're going to dive right into those cover lover picks. Alright guys, we have 4 covers to go over, and these are all gorgeous covers. And the first one that I want to show you guys is Poison Ivy #5, the cover B done by Stepan Sejic. I am totally butchering your name. I am so sorry, but man, this cover is absolutely gorgeous, featuring Poison Ivy, which I believe is in some kind of new form that she's going to take on in this series, but it is so gorgeous. And the next one up is Edge of Spider-Verse #5, the Skan. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Yeah, this cover is also absolutely gorgeous, featuring Miles Morales. And you guys can pick this up at Eastside Comics. I will have a link down in the description where you can pick this up because this is an exclusive cover. And next up is The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing #1, the cover H, the 1 in 100 incentive cover done by Handing. I haven't heard of Handing before, but holy crap, this cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Am I going to pay $100 for it or a little under 100? I'm not quite sure, but guys, this cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I think this might do well on the secondary market in the future. Next up, and the last cover, is Static Shadows of Dakota #1, the cover C done by Oliver Coble. I think this cover is absolutely fantastic. Really highlights Static as a character, and again, if Static does blow up or it does get his own TV show or movie, I can see this cover moving in the future. Alright guys, those are the 4 cover lover picks that I have for you guys. Let's go ahead and dive into all the books that the Key Collector app has on this week's Future Key section, and there are 29 books, so there are a lot of books to go through. Let's go ahead and rip through those real quick and get to my new comic book day spec picks of the week. Alright guys, 29 books to go through, so I am going to go as fast as I can because I don't want this to be a super long section. And also guys, sometimes the Key Collector app does have release dates wrong, so guys, make sure you do your own research. This is very important. I'm just taking the information in front of me and giving it to you guys, and then that way you guys can do your own research and figure out if these books are actually coming out next week on New Comic Day. So let's go ahead and dive into this list. The first one up is Archie Halloween Special #1, with the first appearance of Trick or Treat, 2 impish magical creatures. Next up is Sword of Azrael number 3 with the first appearance of an ancient foe who feeds on innocent hearts in molten lava. Next up, Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing number 1, the sequel to James Tynion's Joker series. Next up is Static, Shadows of Dakota number 1 with the first appearance of Quincy, a friend of Static who is manifesting powers, and also the first team appearance of a vigilante group hunting down superpowered individuals. Next up is Superman number 1. This is a facsimile reprint of Superman number 1. Next up is Dark Crisis, the Deadly Green number 1. This is a variant cover done by Steve Beach. Next up is Miracle Man number 0, a one-shot anthology of stories reintroducing Miracle Man. Next up is Avengers X-Men Eternal Star Fox number 1, the first solo titled issue featuring Star Fox. Next up is Avengers X-Men Eternals X-Men number 1. This is an event tie-in. Why is that speculation? Next up is Poison Ivy number 5. This is a variant cover done by Tula Latte. A gorgeous cover. I just didn't feature it on my cover lover section, but that is a gorgeous cover. Next up is Gotham City Year 1 number 1, The Origin of Gotham City. Next up is Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 5. DC teases a possible permanent long-term death of an established Justice League member in this issue. Next up is Black Adam, The Justice Society Files, Dr. Fate number 1. This is a one-shot prequel to the Black Adam movie. Again, why is that speculation? Next up is Spider-Man number 1. This series is a continuation from Edge of Spider-Verse from 2022 and debut of new Spider-Verse characters and also the reintroduction of Morloon. This is also written by Dan Slott once again. Next up is Revolvers number 1. A detective attempts to solve the mystery of its own murder while being pursued by gun-toting demons in a hellish purgatory. That actually sounds pretty cool. Next up is Kaya number 1. After the destruction of their village, a young girl with a magical arm and fighting spirit is tasked with delivering her little brother to a faraway safe haven. Also looks really, really cool. Next up is Junkyard Joe number 1. This is the origin of a character introduced in the comic series Geiger, one of my favorite series from 2021. Great series. Next up is Dark Ride number 1. A young man lands his dream job at Devil Land, a horror-themed amusement park, but quickly discovers the real nightmares behind the scenes and the truth about its reclusive creator. Also written by Joshua Williamson, so if you're into his work over at DC Comics, you might like that. Next up is Three Keys number 1. This is a book I'm excited about. It's humanity's survival against the wrath of the great old one lies in the hands of a young woman and her furry yet violent mentor. Next up is Siren's Gate number 1. Tara, an aspiring writer, has never thought of herself as anyone special. For better or worse, all this is about to change. Cover art by Shannon Mayer. So I guess that's a little cover art, but also the story. I don't know. Sweet Candy Vigilante number 1. Dark humor infused horror fantasy that tells the tale of Sweetie, a beautiful but unhinged, well-meaning blood relative to the mythological Candyman. Next up is Garbage Pail Kids Origins number 1. The Origin of Audubon, a parody of Captain America. Next up is Night of the Ghoul number 1. Guys, don't sleep on this book. It's Scott Snyder. An obsessive horror fan stumbles upon what was thought to be destroyed footage of a film destined to be as classic as Dracula, but the frames may have captured a monster that is more than myth. Next up is Dark Crisis, the Deadly Green number 1, with the first appearance of Super Swamp Thing, and it's also a Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths tie-in. Next up is Earth Divers number 1, a group of apocalypse survivors who discovers a time travel portal in a cave theorized that the precise point in history when everything took a turn for the worse and resolved to rectify the problem by traveling back to 1492 to kill Christopher Columbus. That's pretty crazy. Next up is Edge of Spider-Verse number 5 with the first appearance of Web Weaver, the first gay alternate universe Spider-Man, the first appearance of Hunter Spider, and the first appearance of a spider character created by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, directors of Into the Spider-Verse. Next up is Hulk number 9 with the first appearance of Monolith, the ruler from the society built for Hulks by Hulks. Next up is Doctor Who Special from 2022, number 1. This is a one-shot anthology of stories featuring Mariah Jones, telling stories about the 10th Doctor with a bonus story featuring Rose Tyler, the 9th Doctor. Whoa. Next up, in the last book, on the Key Collector wrap that has speculation is Tomb of Dracula number 1. This is a facsimile reprint of Tomb of Dracula number 1, the first appearance of Dracula. Wow. Hope you guys sticked around for the whole thing because that was a lot of books to cover on this thing. There was some cover lover picks. There was also just some speculation. So I'm going to go back over to these 29 books and come back to you with my new Comic Book Day spec picks of the week. Alright guys, there are 2 books that I think you guys might want to consider. That's right, 2 on final order cutoff and 2 on new comic book day speculation for you guys. And the first one up is kind of an easy one. I'm talking about Edge of Spider-Verse #5, and has 3 first appearances. This is the first gay Spider-Man, Hunter Spider, which I don't really care about, but the character that I think is really interesting is this character that was created by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the directors of Into the Spider-Verse, which is key because don't you think they would want to see their character on the big screen and maybe Into the Spider-Verse 2, or maybe if they make a third one, Into the Spider-Verse 3? So I think there is a good chance that we would see the Spider in the future. And people love to have first appearances that come out on the big screen. So guys, go ahead and score yourself a copy of Edge of Spider-Verse #5. And again, there are some really cool covers out there. So if you don't like cover A, go for one of those other covers that might lift the book up just a little bit more other than just these first 3 first appearances. All right, guys. And the other book that I think you guys might want to consider is an independent, and it is from Scott Snyder. It is Night of the Ghoul #1. And the main reason why I think you guys might want to consider this book right here is that a couple of Scott Snyder's books have been optioned. And I'm talking about his independent books, or at least there's rumblings in the background that his books could be optioned. So I am a huge Scott Snyder fan, so I am kind of invested in his writing, but guys, there are just investments happening in his books. So guys, don't sleep on his books. Dark Spaces is a book that just came out and that was already optioned, and it's already selling well on the secondary market. It might not anymore, but when that first option news hit, that book was going off like crazy. So, well, I shouldn't say like crazy, it's going for like 15, 20 bucks. But, you know, 15, 20 bucks is way more than $4, which is the cover price on that book. Alright guys, so those are the 2 books that I think you guys might want to consider. That is the end of this video. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you guys could do one more thing for me, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about the books that I spoke about in today's video. You know, the books that I suggested for speculation, and if you guys think those are good picks or bad picks, and if they are bad picks, were there better picks out there? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. And also guys, you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to this point in the video. Truly, you guys are amazing. And last but not least guys, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notification, and smash that like button. Alright guys, I will see you guys definitely next week, but I do have a video recorded that I hope to drop tomorrow, but if not, I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully I can get that video edited and out by next week. Alright guys, have yourself a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.